I don't think the Democrats knew what they were getting themselves into when they thought that they could cross Kash Patel, when they actually thought that he would just put up with their BS, like he wasn't going to fire back and clap back twice as hard. And that's exactly what happened today. And I'm going to show you a few of the best clips that are going viral on social media right now, especially this one with Adam Schiff. He's trying to act all self-righteous, so we're going to get into that in a second. But first and foremost, my name is Clayton Kurz from Trending Politics. Please make sure, before you continue this video, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and like this video, because there is no other way that we're going to get the truth out except through these methods, okay? The big media and the mainstream media are still fully against Trump, even though he won the popular vote, even though he had another landslide victory, but we're not going to get into that. At the end of the day, support channels like ours because we need to get the truth out there. So let's jump right into this. So Kash Patel is trying to become our next FBI director. And of course, as Democrats always do, they're throwing fits, hissy fits, and they're just melting down on Congress all day with Kash. So in this clip, Adam Schiff tried to play this self-righteous game and trying to shame Kash Patel over January 6th. And he tried to say, like, I can't believe you. He's basically assuming, or not assuming, he's basically saying that Kash Patel supported any assault on police officers. And he tries to get him to look at the police officers, the Capitol police officers behind him. And Kash does not fall for it for 1 single second. Watch this.
You're being considered for director of the FBI. And here you did no diligence to find out whether people you were associating with now the President of the United States in song were convicted of attacking police officers. Is that who we want running the FBI? I want you to turn around. There are Capitol police officers behind you. They're guarding us. Take a look at them right now. Turn around.
I'm looking at you. You're talking to me.
No, look at them. I want you to look at them if you can, if you have the courage to look them in the eye, Mr. Patel, and tell them you're proud of what you did. Tell them you're proud that you raised money off of people that assaulted their colleagues, that pepper sprayed them, that beat them with poles. Tell them you're proud of what you did, Mr. Patel. They're right there. They're guarding you today. Tell them how proud you are.
That's an abject lie, and you know it. I've never, ever accepted violence against law enforcement. I've worked with these men and women, as you know,
you glorified it in song,
and I did
Mr.
not
Patel.
make a single dime out of it.
In song. Well, let me.
How about you ask them if I have their backs, and let's see about that answer.
Let me ask you this.
And of course, so this is just the common average theatrics from the Democrat Party. They're always going to try to put on the biggest scene, and they're always going to try to act self-righteous and higher morally than the other person. And Kash ended there with the perfect remark, saying, how about you turn around and ask them what they think of me? Because law enforcement historically has always been on the side of President Trump and what he tries to accomplish. And so Schiff just is having a really rough day. And then this clip here is another golden clip. So Amy Klobuchar, there are other clips of her trying to, put him into a corner and whatnot. Obviously it didn't work, but he fires back here, and she was basically left speechless. She was not expecting him to say this. She basically said, well, I could ask you questions for 5 hours. And he says, you have 2 minutes. Watch this.
The rest of the interview. This is why snippets of information are often misleading and detrimental to this committee's advice and consent process.
If you consent, I would love to have 5 hours of questions, and then I could read the whole transcript.
You've got 2 minutes.
Wow.
This is the type of energy we need from our nominees and from the people that we have supporting us and representing us in Congress, because this is the exact type of energy that the Republican Party never had before. They let the Democrats walk all over them, and this is a new era, and this is a new Trump administration, and we are not going to put up with it. Now, this here is a clip that everyone's going to love. Senator Kennedy did what he always does. Let me just play this for you.
If you're not ticking off some people, you're not doing your job right.
My colleague and friend Senator Durbin called you a conspiracy theorist.
You could just tell that Kennedy is always cooking something up. Like, you could see the wheel spinning in his head. He knows what he's about to do. I love this guy.
You remember that?
I do, Senator.
You were instrumental in revealing that the Trump-Russia election collusion Hoax was a hoax, weren't you?
Yes, sir. I was a lead investigator.
Sounds to me like we need to get some new conspiracy theories because all the old ones turned out to be true.
Facts matter, Senator.
Yeah. I mean, conspiracy theorists are up something like 37-0.
And so, as we all know, what he's talking about there is the Russia collusion that they accused Trump of year after year after year. They even did a full-on special counsel, spent tens of millions of dollars of taxpayer money, and Kash Patel was in on that, against that from day one. If anybody would have just paid attention to Kash, they would have known that this was a hoax all along. But instead, they wasted countless taxpayer dollars for Robert Mueller to just say, "Oh, nope, we don't really have any evidence that Trump colluded with Russia, but we're not saying he didn't do it. We're just saying we can't prove that he did it." That's the kind of stuff that we had to put up with in the first administration. And thankfully, we have a much stronger team on our side, the Avengers this time, who's not going to put up with that anymore. And in this last clip, Kash Patel puts on an absolute masterclass. So I'm not going to read this whole thing. I just want to read the first part, and then I'm going to play the video for you. He's just so good at this. I mean, I am just so proud of all of these nominees because these Trump nominees are just handling this with so much grace. Hegseth did a great job. Tulsi is on the Hill right now. She's also doing a great job. But Kash just has this different energy about him. I actually met him in D.C. during the inauguration. Great guy behind the scenes. So basically, as Adam Schiff did prior, they're accusing him of being anti-law enforcement, hating the cops, and, oh, you're against the police and all that, because he's trying to have this very crucial position when it comes to law enforcement, and they're saying he's anti-law enforcement. And so he just basically says, if anyone wants to consider me anti-law enforcement, look at my 16 years of service. National Security Prosecutor, a Joint Special Operations Command civilian, embedded with SEAL Team 6 and Delta, chasing down terrorists successfully. I have always respected law enforcement. I have taken that oath and will again. As for January 6th, I have repeated often and publicly and privately said there can never be a tolerance for violence against law enforcement. Just now watch the rest of this because he just delivers it so perfectly.
On to critics who say that you're anti-law enforcement.
Mr. Chairman, I greatly appreciate the question, the opportunity to discuss that. If anyone wants to consider me as anti-law enforcement, then look at my 16 years in government service. Whether I was trying 60 jury trials in state and federal court upholding the rights of the indigent and breathing life into constitutional due process, or later as a national security prosecutor, where I served this country and overseas, and later when I was a Joint Special Operations Command civilian embedded with SEAL Team 6 and Delta, chasing down some of the most high-value target terrorists there are on this earth and successfully achieving a mission end state. I have always respected law enforcement. I have taken that oath and will take that oath again, God willing, to be the next director of the FBI. As for January 6th, I have repeatedly, often, publicly, and privately said there can never be a tolerance for violence against law enforcement. And anyone that commits an act of violence against law enforcement must be investigated, prosecuted, and imprisoned. And on January 6th, I said the same thing about acts against law enforcement. The Capitol Police, who I have served with, and when I was Chief of Staff at the Department of Defense, rushing to the aid of the members of this committee and your colleagues to provide the National Guard, was my top mission priority, not politics. And that is my love of this country to protect our laws and our way of life.
There's nothing that they have on this guy. I love how they throw out all these hoaxes, and he just says, you're clearly not listening to the words that I'm saying. I have said it repeatedly that violence against law enforcement will not be tolerated. And then they say, you support violence against law enforcement. And he's like, wait, did you hear what I just said? I just said that there is no acceptable manner or no acceptable time that at all that violence should be used. Well, you support violence. These people are gaslighters, and they are never going to change. And I just am so happy that we have our independent media, like us at Trending Politics, like we have on Twitter /X, because we can now get this truth out there. So on that note, I will keep updating you with more things that are going on Capitol Hill today because a lot is happening. But please, before you go, if you have not already subscribed, please make sure to subscribe. We are pumping out videos now every single day. And please leave a comment. Let me know how you think Kash did. And we are in for one special administration here with this new and improved Donald J. Trump and his new team. So please, like I said, like this video, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you next time.